What's up, y'all? It's TTC, aka the ThunderConductor, and we back for another YouTube video and Twitch stream. If you're on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring the bell. If you're on Twitch, make sure you follow and ring the bell. We do this once a week on YouTube and every other week on Twitch. So let's get right into it. I got a question for you. What is your favorite monocolored deck in cEDH? Some people gonna say mono black, baby. Come on, Keurig all day. It's the fastest deck every time. Some people say mono blue. We have everything from the Teferi Planeswalker to the Urza blue team. Come on now, come on. It's so many good flavors. But today I want to talk about something different. If y'all know anything about me, my heart is set on Rionia Fire Dance Rep. We're not talking about mono red Rionia today. Today we're talking about mono red Kiki-Jiki Mirror Breaker. And I want to bring on an amazing guest, my guy, MRC, that mono red Corey, to tell us about why mono red Kiki-Jiki is the truth. You there, brother?
I'm here, TTC. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thank you for coming on, brother. Thank you for coming on, brother. Talk to me, man. We talking mono red Kiki-Jiki, but I want to first talk about you. Tell me about how you got into cEDH and what got you onto the mono red team, man.
So for getting into cEDH, I was playing casual, and the power level started going up and up, and I was like, I need to compete. So
yeah.
Slowly but surely, I started defining my deck, starting out with mono blue, mono green, and then I found Zerzoth, my first mono red commander, and that was pretty much it. That got me into mono red, and then there was a Kirk player actually who was just stomping us left and right, and I was like, I like red, let's find something a little bit stronger.
Yeah.
There came Kiki, and the rest of it's history right there.
I feel it. And I'm gonna be honest, out of all the mono red decks, you definitely chose a spicy one. You have this Kiki-Jiki Mirror Breaker, 2 colors, triple red, baby. It's haste, it's a 2/2, and it has this amazing ability: tap, create a token that's a copy of target non-legendary creature you control, except it has haste, and sacrifices at the beginning of the next end step. So I know why it's so powerful, but can you just talk to the people? Like, tell us why, out of all the mono red decks, why would they choose this one?
Well, I like to say it this way: Kiki-Jiki goes infinite with a ham sandwich. I know we've heard that about Gabe before, but he goes infinite in so many different ways.
Yes.
And it's just, it's a good piece to have in the command zone. If you always have access to your A part, then just find your B part and see if you can win from there. So it's fun to be able to go quick and fast since you have a combo piece in the command zone.
I resonate with that 1,000,000,000%. I love that. Okay, cool. I love that. I get excited when I hear that, because every time I pull out my mono red Rionia deck, they're like, what is this and why does it work? And why are you winning? And I'm looking like, because 50% of the combos in the command zone, plus that same combo piece can be used for value. So it's always so cool.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? There's so many value things, because we wonder, it took a while for the cEDH community to get hip on clones within blue, but mono red has been doing this for a while. We've seen these with the power of making a copy of creature, whether it's the Magus of the Wheel, cheating off a wheel, or whatever the heck it may be, finding cheeky ways to just use our commander, not just the combo, but also just to just outvalue a mono blue or 3 or 4 color pile deck. So I definitely feel you there, but talk to me about this list specifically. When it comes to a deck archetype, would you say your turbo, mid-range, Stax, or control? Talk to me about that, brother.
So I'm going to go with mainly turbo. I will say, and I know that word's going to throw some people off, mainly. Okay. I do have some very interesting pieces in my deck to help me out if things get bogged down, but in the general sense, this is definitely a turbo deck.
Got you. Okay. And so within that turbo, what play style gets towards the win then? So we're a turbo deck, and that means we're trying to win on average turn 2 or 3, maybe turn 4 if there's a Stax piece or we just don't think it's a good window. So are we trying to be super proactive, adaptive, or talk to me about that?
We're going to be going all gas, no brakes for the most part. Yes, all gas, no brakes.
Got you, brother. Okay. Well, I want to get into win cons, but before I do, I didn't just bring you on because you have a fun commander. You've done well on the tournament scene, and even full flower seed, you got 17th place, was literally the smallest percentage of way from making the top 16 at the Boyle earlier this year, and out of a 222 player pool, almost made the top 16. So can you please tell us about some tournament experience, maybe your top game player experience, or how it just feels like to have this mono red brew in the tournament scene, bro?
So my first tournament was a 64 person tournament, and I top four'd in that. And then I played a 40 something tournament, which was, I think it was 41, where I got top 16 there. And then the Boyle was the most recent one. And yeah, I got 17th place there, and going up against all those big names that I've been watching on YouTube for the longest time was one of the best things ever. And for my deck to actually make an impact on that amount of people, and they were talking about me and all that stuff, it was the best feeling ever, because I went there saying, let's forget about Magda, let's forget about Godo, let's start talking about Kiki-Jiki here, because I really think he has a place at the top with the big boys.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love that energy, because at the end of the day, it's right. Like, in order to move forward and really push the boundaries of, like, especially in monocolor, you got to be willing to do things that seem unorthodox. I remember when I first saw this commander, even before I saw like the comedian MTG or Lamore cards do a cover on your deck, I always saw it as like, man, I want to make this work, but it's too toughness, and I could never let that go in my head. But the minute I like saw you do it, I felt like it was like the first time you see Usain Bolt run, like you just see them run that fast and everybody gets faster. It's like you see another mono red deck be successful, and then everyone just starts to open their eyes like, no, you can not just be successful, but excel with the singular color. So I really love the limits you broke with that. So that's fucking fantastic, brother. Cool, man. All right. Let's talk last thing before win cons, man. Let's just get the garbage out the way. What's the weaknesses, bro? Where did this deck suffer, especially like in your tournament experience? What do we define as this deck's weaknesses, bro?
So in mono red, you ain't got much card draw and much choice for starting hands. Yes, you can mulligan, but there comes a point where you're not going to get what you need. And I know a lot of people are, gonna raise their hands up and cheer that I'm saying that it is a downside of a monocolored deck. I understand that, but that part sucks a lot. And I'll say, if there's another turbo deck there, and they go first, I do have some interaction, but not the most. But tournament wise, I'll say that if there's another turbo deck with not having much interaction. But what really sucks, if I'm up against decks that don't have white or blue in them, that hurts me a lot, because I have a lot of cards that are good against those colors. So either those piles or another turbo deck that gets go before me.
Got you. Yeah, nah. And I definitely saw that. Like, we're gonna get to win cons in a sec, but I definitely saw like I saw a lot of spells that had this line: this spell can't be countered or overmastered. The next spell you cast can't. Sorcery spell you cast can't be countered.
We're gonna talk about some overmaster, because that's an inside joke with my play group after those tournaments now, because that card is a whole lot better than what people think.
Oh no, please trust me, I believe you, bro. Well, let's get right into it then, man. Let's talk win cons, man. Like, how is this deck winning? Talk to me, brother.
All right, so of course we know that Kiki taps and makes a copy of a non-legendary creature that has haste. That's super important.
Yep.
But we have quite a few cards that are an A and B combo with Kiki. So for starters, we have Coercive Recruiter and Zealous Conscripts. Okay. They both basically do the same thing. For when they enter the battlefield, you can target a creature and take it from your opponents, or you can target your own, untap it, and you just untap it basically if you take your own. So basically what that does is it resets Kiki to untap him. You tap him again, you make another one, and you just keep targeting Kiki-Jiki for near infinite tokens with haste, which is very important to swing out for game. Those ones are just the like non-combat damage. I just need to start going off with Kiki. But there are other ones such as Port Razer and Combat Celebrants. So for Combat Celebrant, you have to exert them as he attacks, and then you untap all other creatures you control. And after this phase, there's an additional combat phase. And then lastly, Port Razer, that one has to deal combat damage.
Right.
And that'll reset Kiki. So those are the main ones. We still, of course, have Godel Helm. We've got Dual Caster Mage, Feature, Twin Flame Multiplication, and then there's a lot of other obscure ones I can talk about. But one that comes up quite a bit is my Fergie God of Storytelling with Grinning Ignis, or Ignis, if I'm saying that correctly. And actually, I didn't put that part in the win cons, but it's just so obscure that not a lot of people see it. But if I have any outlets such as Impact Tremors, Perforos, so on and so forth, then that's infinite damage right there. A little bit more obscure, but I will say that that one has snuck quite a few wins in for me.
I saw that and I thought that was dope because it's funny. You're running the Runaway Steam Can and Bergie with the Grinning Ignis, and I was looking at it at first. I was like, what is he thinking? What's the outlet? But then I was looking at it and I was like, I loved how everything layered. It was like, these cards are not just good because they combo, but they give you mana. And when we have, like, when the baseline of our combo, like the most common comp will be oh my gosh, the Recruiter, or the or like Port Razer, or these or Zealous Conscripts. If those are main win cons, we need a lot of mana. And so both of these Runaway Steam Can and Bergie are just great ramp and storm pieces, but the fact that they actually have a combo piece with them as well just makes them better, and just it never makes them a dead card. They're always online and they can get us closer to a win. That's why I absolutely love that, brother.
So those are your main win cons. I can go a little bit deeper to more obscure ones, but we'd be probably talking for a while because there's plenty of them in here.
Well, I'll say this before. I do want to hear a little bit about the the off-beaten path win cons, but I had a couple questions for you. First, I want to say I love that you're running the Go Bandit Warlord package in the 99. I do a similar thing in my Reunion Fire Dancer list.
Oh yes, you do. I have watched that, and your Pyre of Heroes. My goodness,
Yeah,
you got the spice in there.
No,
I've watched your full video twice. It's so good,
bro. I kid you not. Like, there's been so many times where I literally go, all right, I'm gonna push for a win, knowing it's gonna get stopped. I'll extra turn their ass with Final Fortune or whatever. Not go into my extra turn, sack my commander, go into the Godo line. There's like, what? I love that line so much. And so I decided, when I saw that in this deck, I was like, we got someone who gets it. They get it. So I did have a question. For those who wonder how the Godo line works, it works with Helm of the Host, where you can count to 11, basically paying 6 for Godo and then paying 5 to equip it. I did want to ask, for those who are wondering, you're choosing not to run Hammer and Design, and I wanted to ask you about that thought process and what made you lead to that decision.
So I don't feel like there's room, and I've been playing this deck for about 3.5 years. I've been playing Magic for 3 years. I've been playing Magic for 4. I put a lot of thought into this deck, and there's definitely some cards that people are like, hey, you need to cut to go the straight turbo route. And I do understand that, but I can't. I need my backup. I always have to have a plan B.
I agree.
If I can't get my commander out, if I get Grafdigger's Cage and everything, and I know that there's ways around that and such, but like I don't have all the Kiki combos in here. I don't have like every single one. I've got most of them.
Right.
I felt like I had to pick and choose, basically. So I am running Magnetic Theft.
Yes, I saw that.
That was huge for me getting into the top 4 of that 64-person tournament. I actually was up against Shauna Giles on Niv Mizzet. Got down to 1 life with Treasonous Ogre and 1 mana floating off of Bergie. Yeah. And I could activate Treasonous Ogre 4 times to go up to 5, but I cast Magnetic Theft using Bergie's red, targeting Godo. It got countered, and then I replaced my red with Bergie, and I just paid the 5 and equipped it straight up to Godo. And got the winner with 1 life. It was insane. It was absolutely insane. Blood Moon also played a huge a huge role in that game, but yeah, basically, and what I'm trying to say is I picked and choose. I don't have the full Godo package. That's more of like my backup win cons.
100%.
You know, I'm going with the Kiki-Jiki lines for the most part.
100%. And if I can add on to that, for anyone who also may have that question, I was first looking at that and I had the question as well, like, oh, why did you not choose to run Hammer Design? But one key line, and that'll also be the reason why for the selection of all the non-legendary creatures in this list, but notably, Kiki-Jiki can only make copies of non-legendary creatures. So even if you wanted to add into it, it's almost, I don't want to say it's a non-bo, but you can't copy the Godo to get another copy to get another ETB. You know what I'm saying? So even though you can do a similar thing, like maybe if you had used your Heat Shimmer or Multiple Duplication or Twin Flame, but unfortunately it doesn't work like that with this commander. So it even makes it more worth to just say, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and just count to 11, similar to what the Godo does, because I'm already counted to 10 with my other combos in this deck. You know what I'm saying? So I did enjoy that choice to let the Hammer Design go in your list, and I thought it was smart. You know what I'm saying? I like it. Yeah. Another question I had, Port Razer. Now, in Rionia Fire Dancer, a lot of the Rionia community chooses not to run the Port Razer. I love this creature, and one of the reasons I love it is because Rionia specifically can make multiple copies, but for this deck specifically, you can only make the 1 copy until you do the combat damage to keep the line going. So I want to ask, is there any times where you find that there's too many blockers up and you just can't push it, or do you find that you run enough removal to just be able to push through anybody who has too many blockers?
I've ran into the situation where people have had too many blockers, but this has played a key role in my deck. Is not many people pay attention to the mono red deck and what the mono red cards do, and if they have valuable pieces that they don't want to lose, then they make the mistake of not blocking it, and then that allows me to go off. And I do have plenty of removal, but I use Port Razer mainly as if I don't have any blockers, what do I want to get rid of? Because I'm forcing a block. You know, if someone's got a Timna out or a Draenith Magistrate, like I'm a force a block, otherwise I'm gonna win. So
okay, I like that.
Yeah.
I never actually thought about that. I like that mentality of like you need to block now.
I use attacking. My playgroup jokes around and say we have to keep track of life totals because of MRC, because I'm gonna attack people. It doesn't matter if you give me a 1/1 spirit or anything like that. If that thing can attack, I'm gonna go for it. So I use combat as removal, basically.
I like that. I got you, big dog. Okay. All right. That makes 100% sense. And now I like it, almost makes Port Razer not just a win con, but also a removal piece, because it's just like you're going to block with your 1 creature. And I don't care that I don't win. I just need that creature to be gone, because I'm going to try for another combo in my second main phase, which is another thing I love about this deck. You're not constrained to just winning during combat because of the use of like impact trimmers and Bergie with the with your with the Bergie with the Greeny Ignis and all those other lines, where it's like I'm gonna force the block with the Stax piece that's stopping me, and then I'm gonna follow that up with the actual win count, which I think is so fucking dope. So yeah, man. Okay. Well, we know how the decks win. We know how the deck wins and whatnot. Before we move on to tutors, I want to ask, you said there is some off the beaten path win cons, but is there any predominant ones that you find come up enough to that you want to maybe bring up for any pilots who may be interested in this deck?
So it's mainly the Burgy ones, your more obscure one that people don't see.
Okay.
But another one is Fable of the Mirror Breaker with Combat Celebrant.
Ooh.
So basically you have to go all the way through your Fable of the Mirror Breaker, which is 3 turns. I know that takes a while. And then you have to flip it to, we call it Kiki at home because it's Kiki without haste that you have to pay 1 mana to use. But basically, if it's once again like Port Razer, if you have some clear attacking, a clear attacking pathway, then you attack with your Goblin Shaman that makes a treasure.
Gotcha.
You exert your Combat Celebrant, which will untap your Goblin Shaman, and then your backside of Fable of the Mirror Breaker, and you'll just keep attacking, generating that 1 mana to keep refilling. That, and it can also work with Port Razer and such, because he deals combat damage, make another copy, so on and so forth. So that has only happened once for me, but it has to be noted because it's definitely something that you can do.
My God, dude, you are a fucking mad genius. I have been wanting to make this. I remember when this card first came out during New Capenna, not New Capenna, Neon Dynasty, Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. And I saw this card, I'm like, bro, this has to combo with something. Like, what am I missing? What am I missing? And I just said, fuck it, I guess it just doesn't combo like I think it does. And I forgot that token that they give you on the first one, on the first level, just allows you to go infinite with your other creatures. And yes. I get it's a little out there. You got the token that stay alive, I got you. But still, like, just knowing that, whether you're stacking out the board with Blood Moon or with whatever rolling boiling vortex, so they can't go off with a breach line or whatever not, it just lets you just sit back and be like, all right, y'all have a 2-turn clock now. Whether you say it or not, you know in your head that you have a 2-turn clock, and I have the Port Razer and Combat Celebrate already in my hand, and you are a Spellslinger deck, so you'll never have enough of the blockers to stop me. I fucking love this, bro. That's fire. Thank you for sharing that. God damn.
Absolutely.
That's that tech. Y'all don't know about this bottle red shit right here. That's that tech, boy.
We're coming out of the woodwork over here. What do we got? What can we play with?
Hey, fuck yes. But that's what I love about mono red, though, especially, like, no shade to any other of the colors, but mono red really does, like, serve you if you are willing to put in the creativity to make it work, because it's still explosive. It has the ramp. It has the card advantage if you can be creative. It has the tutors if you can be creative. It's just the only thing that can stop it is you. And if you're not creative, okay, it won't work. But if you're creative and you take the time to really find what makes the list work, it will just work. So, fuck yes, man. You did the work.
Yeah.
All right, well, we know how the deck wins now, and it's clear as day as it can win. But let's talk about how we get to the win line. So we have the card draw here, but I want to first talk on tutors.
So for our tutors here, we're definitely limited in mono red, but we have our Gamble, which can search us any card, but we do have to randomly discard, which sometimes can bite us in the butt. But depending on how many cards you have in hand, I usually cast this turn 1 or try to, so the chances of that happening are a little bit more slim. I'll say our main targets for Gamble is Mana Crypt, Dockside, and Treasonous Ogre.
Yeah, 100%.
You'll notice that I did not say a combo piece in there, is because we have quite a few in here that can allow us to get the win.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it never comes up, but those are definitely the top 3 for Gamble.
I definitely either.
Next, we have Goblin Matron, of course, which will mainly get our Dockside, but we definitely have other goblins that we can target outside of that. And we can do like Skirk Prospector, Sardine Avenger is another amazing one. Treasure Nabber, which once again started off as a joke in my play group, and then everybody started running it because you steal their artifacts.
I gotta ask about this one, bro. I had to ask about this one. Dog, talk to me about Treasure Nabber. I've seen it in play, and like I've seen a T and K deck running it, and of course you see that casual tables, but like on a cEDH level, mono red. What really got your heart tied on the Treasure Nabber? Talk to me, brother.
Those, I want to say expensive mana bases, and I'm not talking about lands. I'm talking about, like if you're up against Blue Farm, and fortunate for me, my play group likes to play a lot of the top decks, so I get a lot of experience against them. But they're playing Talisman of this, Talisman of that, Chrome Mox is this, that, and giving, even if it doesn't tap for my color, giving red more mana to pop off with some crazy spells and combos and stuff is really dangerous. And they found that out real quickly, and then they did start adapting. One of my boys, his name's Q, he would play all of his artifacts, tap all of them for mana, give them to me, and then he'd play Dockside, and he adapted real well. Yeah, so it can bite you in the butt. I'm not gonna lie there.
Okay.
But it's still good, I promise. If I was running Dargo so I can sack all their artifacts, it would definitely be better, but I'm not running Dargo. So there's a tip for people if I play a Treasure Nabber, if somebody else does. So I probably shouldn't have said that on stream.
No. I love that you said that though, because that's a great tech. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I think that was flowers to your boy, whoever it is. Full flowers to your boy. I've never thought about that line because I don't get to play against this deck too much. But honestly, to use it as a ramp spell against you, but I can see how it can be hurting if you unless you're going through a breach line where you're stacking an LED or a Lotus Spell or whatever. Now it may need to be like most of the time. This is just a Stax piece that can be inconvenient and allow the mono red player to catch up on with the mana rocks that we usually don't get access to because we only have Arcane Signet and Felwar Stone, and maybe if you count the Ruby Medallion or whatever not. But to say like, hey, if you got a talisman, I got a talisman. I love that. Yeah. And then on the flip side, they're like, okay, if you want to take my stuff, I'm gonna get a better dock side. Like, I love the push and the pull of it. It shows, honestly, flowers of magic to Wizards. I give them a bunch of hate, but great design for the card. But on the flip side, I love it. It just brings a political and like a skill level. Like it says like, hey, I'm going against Sisse. I probably don't want to push out this Treasure Nabber right now because they have a bunch of artifacts. They'll give it to me and then do a big dock side. But then if you're going against I'm going against Azorius and Esper, they need their rocks so they can hold up interaction. But I'm going to use it so I can ramp out to my win on my next turn. Like, it allows you to be a great pilot to serve you. So, dude, I love that.
I really like what you said there about Esper and them, needing like their artifacts, because if it's let's say it's my turn and I'm going for win or something like that, and they decide to tap their rocks on my turn, Treasure Nabber specifically states gain control of that artifact until the end of your next turn. So what I do is I even take their rocks away from them. And then that gives me the mana to fuel me to go again next turn for another chance to pop off. So that is something that a lot of people don't realize. We have a Niv Mizzet player who plays a lot of rocks, of course. He should, to get him out and interacting on my turn. I'm like, oh well, that combo just got countered, but I just gained 3 mana off of it, so let's go again next turn, and they will not have that mana to cast their commander or whatever on their turn. So it's a ramp piece and a Stax piece, you could say.
Oh man, I love that line that you talk about there, because once again, it's similar to what you said about Port Razer. It's like, I usually don't do that play pattern, but you're making me think harder about this. Like, by putting the Port Razer on the stack, and like, if it resolves, y'all don't have the spot removal, I'm gonna force you to block because you don't know. I just need that other Stax piece removed, but I'm using my combo piece as a removal piece. And on the flip side, I'm using my Stax piece as a way to say, okay, I can't win this turn. I mean, I know I can't get out the win this turn, but I know you're set up to win because you, I don't know, tutored for something and you did an open tutor and you pass turn, I can force you not to have enough mana to hold up interaction to protect it and or to even do the combo. Plus it sets me up for even more mana later on. So I love your flexibility of these pieces. Man, that's good. Damn, that's good, brother. All right, well, that's good. That's good. Okay, we talking about tutors. Goblin Matron, you proved it's a great tutor. Keep going, brother.
So next we got Imperial Recruiter. The biggest targets for this one are going to be Dockside, of course.
Yep.
Treasonous Ogre.
Yep.
I'd basically say those two. Sometimes we get Vindictive Flamestoker, Professional Facebreaker, but the biggest ones are the Treasonous Ogre and the Dockside, of course.
I couldn't agree more.
Yep.
I'm gonna be honest, y'all. All right, I'm gonna tell. Is it okay if I tell the people like a thing about mono red players that? All right, I'm gonna just say it.
Yeah, send it. Come on.
All right, y'all. All right. So a lot of times, mono red players will politic and will say, "Hit the Adnos player" or whatever. Not. We don't. And even though people even know we have Treasonous Ogre in our decks, sometimes they won't hit it towards us because the difference between how we use Adnos and how our opponents use Adnos, we use it to make mana, which doesn't always mean we're winning. It's just a lot of mana. They'll use it for an Ad Nauseam or a Necro, and they'll actually trying to win the game through like card advantage, which is scarier than mana. But sometimes if there's no other Grixis or Sans Green deck on the table, just respect the mono red player and just hit him.
Respect. Just know that you can hit the mono red player, but the mono red player is going to hit you harder back. Let's say that.
there you go. You better say it now. No, like that is definitely a thing where I'll tell myself there will be times where people will try to out-politic me and say, but he's running Treasonous Ogre. He just won last game with it. And I'll say, but I don't win with Treasonous Ogre. That just gives me mana to win. So all it's doing is expediting the process. If you make my life go down, it doesn't change anything. You're running Necropotence, bro. That is card advantages, and that's way better than mana advantages. And they're like, yeah, TTC got a point, bro. Like, you got anything to say about this? They're like, no, man, he win. I'm like, exactly. And so I will say this. Of course, don't not hit the Ad Nauseam player. But if there's only one, if there's an Azorius and Esper, well, Azorius, is it a mono red and the mono white at the table? Respect the mono red player, but no, you're going to get that clap back. Just,
yeah.
You're going to get that clap back. But definitely, brother. Yeah. Like, I love Treasonous Ogre so much. But go keep going, brother. We talking on the peer recruiter.
So those, the Vindictive Flamestoker, Treasonous Ogre, and the Dockside. Really not much else besides that. Very similar to Goblin Matron. But the next one's going to be an interesting one, and a lot of people are going to be surprised. But Koth, Fire of Resistance.
Okay.
So a Planeswalker in a cEDH deck, and we're not playing Sisay, obviously. So people are going to immediately be like, "This can't be that good." Well, welcome to Mono Red. So we can. How do I say this without swearing? We can make a lot of mana.
Fucking swear. Go ahead, bro.
Well, okay, we can shit out a ton of mana in mono red, which is one of the best parts about the color, in my opinion. You want a Desperate Ritual, Seething Song on turn 1, you want to get to 10 mana. That's very easy to do. Well, how about getting a Planeswalker that, I like to say it this way, deck thinning is deck winning, you know? TTC likes to say instant speed is king. I like to say deck thinning is deck winning, right?
Hey, you better
hey, I pay a lot of
hey, yo, you the man.
So deck thinning is deck winning for me, because
yes,
the more basic lands I get out of my deck, the more times I don't top deck lands or anything like that.
Yes.
And it's very common for me to get it out turn 1, turn 2. I actually played in a small tournament where I got it turn 1, and starting at 4 and doing +2 is huge, because people are like, I don't want that to alt. I'm not going to attack the mono red player. I'm going to attack his Planeswalker. I'm like, go ahead. It's saving me life, and I'm just going to keep +2 it. I even did it through an opposition agent. I was like, here, take the mountains. I don't care.
Get out of here.
I might have them. I'm like, I don't need any more. I'm gonna make plenty of mana.
Fuck yes.
So yeah, it really thins out your deck. I am on Valakut, which a lot of people aren't going to like saying that I'm a turbo deck, but we got to have our plan Bs in here. And
100%.
Valakut's awesome, as well as Kothfire Resistance. His emblem's fantastic as well. It's Valakut, but deals 4 damage to any target instead of 3. So,
Get out of here.
and you don't even need to have 5 other mountains. You just do it right off the bat. And he's also removal. I can go on and on about him. He's fantastic. He has found a place to stay in a mono red cEDH deck. Yes.
I'm sorry. So I'm not sorry, but let me say it like this. Brother, I've looked at this Planeswalker so much when I was brewing my mono red Reunion deck, and no matter what, mainly looking for tutors, very trying to be creative with, like I'm trying to find tutor lines, and I eventually found Goblin Matron and Imperial Recruiter tutor lines that work for Reunion, and I was happy with that. But I always looked at this commander like, man, it looks good, but I can't make it work, so I'll let it go. I have to say, I could not agree more with what you said with the ability of Red to be able to push these spells out, because literally 4 mana turn 1 for mono red is nothing. And then the fact with this +2, you're making me look at this card honestly a lot different now. For real, I honestly makes me want to think about running it, because you're getting the basic. It's putting it to the hand. You're guaranteeing your land drops, meaning I don't know how many land drops you're running. We'll get to there in a second, but you're always getting your land drops, so you never have to worry about that. And I love your statement of deck thinning is deck winning, and it's just it really once again it just shows how much you've really been sitting in the mono red cave and really just thinking about this. And even this ultimate, it's not nothing. You know what I'm saying?
There's no coming out of this cave, TTC. I'm in it for life. I'm telling you right now. We're stuck. And I love it.
No, we need somebody, because I'm a trader, but I started I tried Esper, it wasn't my thing, but I went to Jeskai, and I've been having a blast with my Shaya list, but I've actually been really thinking about revamping my Reunion list altogether, because it feels good, but it just feels like I need to take it to another level. So
I know your roots, and there's a lot of other people out there that know. We know where you started from, okay? And that's what matters.
Thank you, brother.
Mono red, baby.
Yes, sir. Let's get it. All right, brother. This is an awesome tutor. This is awesome removal piece. Everything in the ham sandwich. I fucking love it. Let's keep going, brother. Tutors, talk to me, brother.
All right, next one's Urza Saga, which a lot of people, of course, know about. And I had to put it in tutors because this gets our artifacts. Soul Ring, Mana Crypt, more mana, more chances to pop off and get a win. One thing I will note is that I saw, on your Reonia deck, you can definitely make Urza Saga a weapon, as I like to say. You can really, really make that thing powerful. My deck, I don't think I've ever made a copy. I've made constructs before, but I don't think I've ever used Kiki. It's always there for me, but it doesn't come up very often. I'm not gonna lie.
No,
it really doesn't.
Yeah, I'm not gonna cap to you. That my Urza Saga line with Urza Saga and Dockside, where I've done 17 damage to somebody on turn 2 or 3 because they were running Adnais. It was do you remember that? It costs 3 colorless to cast. It's a 5-color deck, and it's basically they did that thing where it's that 0 mana tutor that you cascade into, and then you.
Oh, you're talking Cody the Vericivis.
Thank you.
I can't say that
Kodak,
word. I'm sorry.
Cody, no, that's it.
Yeah.
It was the Cody deck, and they were just turn 1 Cody, and so basically I just told the table, I'm like, all right, y'all, I can't stop him, but let's see if this helps. And I literally just pushed out Construct on turn 2, pushed out Dockside, cast as many rituals as I could, and then just splashed, hit him for 17 damage on turn 2 on the second seat, and then we went to his turn 3, and then that 17 damage just cucked his Adnais.
Yeah.
So it was just
I love hearing that.
Go ahead.
I love hearing that. I love smacking people in red, baby. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
We ain't letting people Adnais.
No, fuck no, bro. Nah, not when you got the best beats on the stick. Nah, bro. Yeah. But yeah, all right. So, I mean, you did get the tutor patch is small. Of course, that's one of the weaknesses of red. But we also show that despite it, even though it's our weakness, it's also a strength because the tutors they do give us are super strong. And so I love that you were able to show that off, man. So I do want to talk about one of our strengths, though, that people may not realize is our strength, and it's card draw and card advantage. So talk to me about our card advantage package, brother.
All right, so for our card advantage, we just got to get this one out of the way because it's in 100% of the cEDH decks. The One Ring.
Okay. Yeah.
It's everybody knows what it does. It's great. It's fantastic. Another reason for us to hit people in red so they can lose life, So, but we have quite a few here. I'll just glaze over the more simple ones. Fable the Mirror Breaker, the second lore counter on it. Discard 2, draw 2. You got 2 dead cards in your hand. Get rid of them and draw 2 different ones. And I should probably note that red, you're going to be exiling a lot of cards to get your card advantage. A little bit of draw, but so I'll cover the draw stuff here real quick. So Fable, Throne of Eldraine, fantastic mono color artifact. Any mono color deck, I think you should run it. It does come up more often than I thought, but paying the 3 to draw the 2 cards, sometimes you're there and you got to do it. So that's another card draw. We have our Wheel of Fortune, of course, to wheel everybody. Vindictive Flamestoker is another fantastic one. It actually just came up in a game. I was playing Urabrask, not Kiki, but I just kept refilling my hand and stopping blue spells, 2 Mindbreak Traps on the stack. It was pretty amazing. But that's another card I'm really high on that people are like, what does this do? So it's just basically a mini wheel for yourself. Magus of the Wheel, of course. It's a wheel on a stick, basically. But for our little bit more spicier ones, we have Apex of Power. That's a 10 mana red sorcery that exiles the top 7 cards of your library, and until end of turn you may cast cards exiled this way, and then you also add 10 mana of any color. Doesn't have to be red, but it's going to be in our case, to spend on those 7 cards. Yes, 10 mana is a lot, but we're going to say it again. Mono red shits out a ton of mana, so this is very doable, and I've done it in multiple tournaments against your baby blue farms, your blue farms, I can go on about that. Next we got is Dance with Calamity. This is Red Naws, basically, as I like to call it. But you shuffle your library, and as many times as you choose, you exile the top card of your library. If the total mana value of the cards exiled this way is 13 or less, you can cast any number of spells from among those cards without paying their mana cost. That one is insane. I have yet to bust on it. I think. Yeah, I don't think I've busted on it yet. It's just unfortunate. I have hit a Blasphemous Act off it before and have to stop immediately, but it happens.
Yeah.
Then we've got Jessica's Will. This one's fantastic with Kiki out, but I will say for the most part we are doing it just to turbo out Kiki and just win. But it can also get us card advantage. I don't think I've ever cast it to just exile the top 3 cards of my library.
Got you.
Here is a big one right here. This one is called Overmaster.
Okay.
This card is near and dear to my heart because my first cEDH tournament where I got top 4, I was up against Blue Farm, Thrasios, Timna, and Kinnan. I turn 1 to this, if I can remember correctly, and there proceeded to be a 5-minute discussion as to whether they should let it resolve or not. I was dying inside, but not showing any emotion, and all of my buddies watching me were just laughing so hard, and I'm like, I just want to draw a card in red. That's it.
That's it. People don't understand. That's it. This is not Croc-Sakashima. Like, literally, I just want to draw 1 card. That's it.
Yep.
I swear.
That's all I was doing.
But you just gotta let them overthink it. I'm not about to sit here and explain myself. If you mental misstep this, I don't give a fuck.
I let him. I was like, go ahead.
Like, I don't care.
So, yes, a 1 mana red card that allows you to draw a card, fantastic. But that other text definitely, it definitely could scare a lot of people, because if you go into a Jessica's Will or Dance with Calamity, Apex of Power, anything like that, it's uncounterable, which is definitely huge. But so this thing, you want to do it early for card draw, great. You want to protect a really good spell later in the game or protect to win, then this is the card for you. I'm very, very high on this card. I absolutely love it.
Yep, I 100% agree. Yep.
All right, our last two, we have Outpost Siege. It's an enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, you can choose cons or dragons. And if you choose cons, you exile a card at your upkeep that you can play until end of turn. Dragons is whenever a creature leaves the battlefield, not dies or anything like that, simply leaves the battlefield.
Yes.
You deal 1 damage to any target because it has been errated, as I found out. So if I'm choosing cons, I'm hurting, and I have done that before.
Yeah.
But I want to choose dragons because if I go infinite and I can't swing at somebody for some reason, or if I want to do it on an end step because someone has protection and it goes to their turn and they're like, oh, I got to stay alive, I sacrifice all those at their end step because I did it in my end step or somebody else's end step, where I just ping them down, machine gun them down. So
100%. I was going to say, I really do. I cut you off, brother. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I was just saying it's a great card. It's very versatile, and it's a really good combo piece that a lot of people are surprised about, especially the leaves the battlefield part. That is very important. That people just don't understand that it doesn't matter where that card goes.
Yeah, I was gonna say when I saw this card in your deck, it was another card that I used to look at. Because it's more card advantage now in the circulation, especially with the inclusion of Thunderconductor Drain and the One Ring, so it's really helpful now. But I used to have to look at these cards like this, like, man, like if this was more useful, I can like maybe squeeze it in for somewhere. But what I love with this card is basically there are certain cards, like if I can find it, what is that spell called? Scribe. What is that silence effect that costs 1 mana that stops? You can pay an additional cost, the kicker cost, to stop people.
Orm's Chant.
Oh, there we go. Thank you. Like these are not cards that we don't see in the current cEDH meta, especially in Mardu colors. If I can find it, there we go. Orm's Chant is a card that I've actually had used against me in my Rionia deck, where a person was worried about me doing some stuff, or I cast a combat celebrant. They say, all right, in response, you move into combat. Like they'll do the first ability, target player can't cast spell this turn. All right, whatever. If the spell is kicked, creatures can't attack this turn. And the cool thing you get in this list is because the leave the battlefield ability is so key, you're able to basically say, yeah, like I don't care if I'm just gonna make the infinite creature tokens in a different way. With like, okay, I can't do the Port Raiser or combat celebrant, that's fine. I'm gonna make the infinite creature tokens and then just go to the end step. And I really love that you're able to take use of both of these abilities. So that's really, really dope, bro.
Yeah, 100%. And then our last card draw / card advantage is going to be Professional Facebreaker, which you deal combat damage to each opponent. You can make up to 3 treasures in 1 combat step, and then you can sacrifice a treasure to exile the top card of your library. And there's times where I've had plenty of treasures to the point where I'm like, all right, if they come in tapped, I'm like, that's okay. I can still use Professional Facebreaker to get some card advantage, and if I can't use them for mana, which is very important, especially if someone's got a Blind Obedience out and they're about to combo off. It's gonna suck, but sometimes you got to sacrifice all those treasures to Professional Facebreaker. So
bingo. Yeah, 100%. And I love that, especially when we got Magda and fucking Sisse running amok right now, just in the meta, just tearing shit up. So yeah, and I also noticed the beautiful thing about Full Flowers, this Berkey card, backside, more card advantage. So
oh yes, I didn't even mention that. I totally forgot.
You're good. Like he's just the card that just keeps on giving, man. This card is so good.
I have definitely cast the backside of Berkey plenty of times. Both sides are absolutely amazing. It doesn't matter which side you use.
100%. Yeah. And we didn't get to touch a lot on it, but just DRC, good old card selection, just being able to fill up the graveyard. And even though we're not a breach deck, just being able to shred past those, like having those go back to a deck thinning is deck winning, just to be able to shred past those lands or whatever we don't need to get to the win con is beautiful. So yeah, I love that, brother.
I actually am on breach. But
okay.
yes, I am on Breach, but you are still correct in as if I can combo with Breach, it's just nowhere near as easy as other decks are.
Right, 100%. Oh, I see. We have we're not running LED though.
No, we are not.
You do Jessica's Wheel of Fortune, Underworld Breach.
I can do things like that, or Seething Song. I have won a few times actually with going through. It's basically if you have Underworld Breach, Wheel of Fortune, and a decent amount of mana, you can loop through it. Yeah.
Oh,
that one. Yeah, that's another really obscure one, but that has come up once. And if you're refilling your opponent's hands, you got to be so lucky.
Yeah, I definitely hear you there. Yeah. Yeah, and you got to be very careful with that line, but it's a win line. Shit, I fuck with it. Okay. Yeah. We got a lot of card advantage. We got a lot of tutors, but now we got to start talking about ways how we stop our opponents. So let's talk removal and interaction. Like, talk to me, brother.
All right. So when I was saying weaknesses, not going against white or blue decks, we have some very specific includes that will kill your Sisseys, Kroms, your Timnas, your Kinnins. The list goes on. We got plenty of ways to kill those. So we'll start off with Rending Volley. I absolutely love this card. 1 mana, cannot be countered, deals 4 damage to target white or blue creature at instant speed, because instant speed is king.
That's what I'm talking about. Fuck yes.
So great removal against a lot of popular commanders nowadays. And then next, this one's at sorcery speed, unfortunately, but it also cannot be countered. Can deal 1 damage to target creature or planeswalker, but if it is white or blue, it deals 5 damage, which is insane. So these are great cards to stop Dranniths. Rending Volley, of course, being better because you can go through a turn cycle and make sure other people don't have their commanders. But they really take out a lot of creatures in the format, and they cannot be countered, which is very, very powerful.
Yes,
for us. Next, we've got a Braid, which is I think the word is modal, if I'm saying that right.
Yeah. Yep.
Having 2 different things that you can do with a spell is absolutely fantastic. This card is just great. I'm really high up on it. Removing an artifact or a creature is awesome.
I wanted to ask, how do you feel about Zoyowa's Justice?
I knew you were going to ask me that, TTC, and I know you like that card, but I hate it. No! I hate Wild Magic Surge. I hate all of those cards. No! I'm so sorry.
It's okay, brother. Talk to me.
The one you're talking about, that one doesn't just replace it with the same card type, right?
This one, it discovers. So it is a guarantee. It discovers, it guarantees that they get the card back to their hand. Wild Magic Surge, for those who are not familiar, is that one's that replaces the same card type. So you have to be super careful that you don't hit. Like, you can destroy a Breach, but you don't want to, and you can even hit a fish or something else that you may want to, depending on what combo line you're going for. But you don't want to do it during their main phase, because you're just going to hit them to a Breach. Or if they're in a polymorph deck, you can't use this spell on a creature they control, because you're going to polymorph them into their Hullbreaker, Horror, Tidespout Tyrant. But talk to me. I want to hear what's your hold up on these, and I respect it in advance, but talk to me, brother.
So Zoyowa's Injustice, that one definitely is nowhere near as bad. It's like Chaos Warp. It is in a way. But I like Chaos Warp better because it's any permanent. I've used it on my own stuff before. That's the beauty of Mono Red. Hey, we're going to hit a combo piece and we're going to win. It's a last chance, sort of thing, which is amazing. You got a captive Mana Vault, get rid of it, get a combo piece off the top, hopefully, Right. But, and also at the same time, I like it because if I do hit an opponent's thing, it, of course, it could always backfire. I'm going to put that out there. I understand that. But what if they hit an instant or sorcery. It's not a permanent. It's just going to stay on top, and you know what it is because it's obviously revealed. So it gives you information, and it can be used in different ways. Wild Magic Surge, specific for that one, cannot stand it. You want to get rid of someone's smothering tithe. Okay, Necroproponents, Rhystic Study, Mystic Remora, Smothering Tithe. You're just getting rid of one evil to either make that evil worse or the same. That's it, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's and a lot of people disagree with me on that, but
I think it's case by case. It's a very skill intensive card. I believe I said this on the Marionia video, but I'll just say it again. It's a very skill intensive card because you almost have to know your opponent's deck before you cast it. And you need to ask yourself, is it worth it? You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm playing against, let's use Magda for example. Say I destroyed their commander, I'm okay if they hit a random dwarf, but I have to understand the worst side is they can hit a dock side. You know what I'm saying? Is it worth hitting the dock side out of their deck? But the cool thing is, on the flip side, I'll say there's a Gravedigger's Cage out. Well, then they can't put it on the battlefield. So it's a skill intensive card, and it's a card that I can understand why it's not your favorite. It's just you don't like it. I think that's fair. I think it's I think a big thing about Magic, and this is why I love and hate that they're printing so many cards. I love that they're printing so many cards because Magic, the cool thing about Magic versus other games is there's so many cards. You can play the exact cards that fit your play style. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, I like versatility. You know, like some people when they go to a tournament, oh, we're gonna tweak it, change out these maybe 5 or 10 cards for the meta. I like to say, no, my deck is made to touch any meta. There may be 1, maybe 2 cards that may switch out specifically like for that tournament because I'm expecting this, but most times I can take my exact 99 to whatever tournament I go to because all of my removal spells can, well, not all of them, but most of my removal spells can hit anything. You get the Wild Magic Surges, you get the Zero's Justice, the Chaos Warps. They have a downside, but I know my opponent's decks well enough because they're all playing the meta that I'm like, I destroyed your God Pharaoh statue, and you may hit another Stax piece, but I just need to be able to get my mana out. I don't care about you getting a Trinisphere on board because I'm just trying to cast a Combat Celebrant. I don't have I don't have 5 mana to untap with on my next turn. You know what I'm saying? So that like for instance scenarios like that. But on the flip side, you also get other like spells like this is one that I don't personally run, Mantic Barrage, but it's great because like you brought up white Stax pieces, you got Crom, you got so many like powerful white and blue cards that usually just sit and are left alone. Nadu, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many powerful white and blue creatures out right now, and I feel like with the printing of Nadu and other creatures, like things like Rending Volley become a mono red staple because I'm gonna be honest, like there's so many times where like I've just blown up a white or blue creature and it's just like, what are we talking? There's nothing to talk about. I want my spells to resolve when they resolve. So that's what I'll give flowers a while to Magic because they like if your play styles I want to be able to hit anything, you got it. But if you want things that can hit anything and not get countered, you got that too. You know what I'm saying? So and even Braid having that modal, like, all right, I know I can only do 3 damage, but there's still a lot of great 3 damage targets. So I think it's fair. I still will. I like Zero's Justice, but I'm not gonna shit on the Braid and act like everybody wasn't running it like a couple months ago before like Zoyowa's and other removal spells came out in these recent sets. So
all right, and then next, one of my favorite cards is Blasphemous Act. Not only does it have one of the sickest arts ever, but being reduced by 1 for each creature on the battlefield to deal 13 damage to them is amazing.
It's fucking huge.
The times that you cast this for more than 1 red, you're basically not casting it. That never comes up. You know, everybody's playing creatures. It's gonna happen. This is gonna be a really cheap spell, and you are gonna wipe the entire board. And the beauty of it, if you don't have any creatures and other people do, just spend 1 mana, wipe the board, and clear the way for your combo pieces to go and win, or your bail pieces, anything like that. That card's absolutely fantastic. Deflecting swat. Sorry. a little bit obscure, I think. But if someone passed to exile or something, let's say it's not even towards me, their path to exiling the Draenith Magistrate, and I'm like, I already got my commander out, or I have the 3 mana to play it. I was like, I don't want that to be gone right now. They're trying to remove it. I was like, let's get rid of something that I don't like. The Kinnan player going off a little too hard or something like that.
Right. Exactly.
Fury. I love this card so much. It is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
The evoke cost to do it early if you need to kill anything. You can activate Kiki-Jiki with the sacrifice trigger on the stack to do 8 damage if need be, and then if you hard cast this thing, it can clear the way for you, and it's going to be an absolute beater. We're going to smack the shit out of somebody with it.
100%.
Absolutely fantastic card. Goblin Bombardment, and you know what? I'm actually probably going to have to say Outpost Siege as well, choosing dragons, because that came up in my first game at that Atomic Empire tournament where I killed, thank goodness, the Grand Abolisher that the Blue Farm player was that they had out. I had Rolling Vortex out, and they were doing LED loops, and they took 16 damage, 3 casts of LED, and then the one at their upkeep. This was the game, sorry, that I got an Apex of Power on. So much to say about it. That was turn 2, and it got me a bunch of value pieces. I was hoping for win, but I didn't get win, but for combo pieces. So basically, I had 4 creatures out with Outpost Siege, choosing dragons, and Goblin Bombardment out. I stacked all 4 of my creatures. He had 7 life, and I dealt, of course, 8 damage to him with Demonic Consultation and fastest ETB on the stack.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yep. I had the Thrasios Vow Smasher player turn to me, and he's like, I can't believe your deck can do this. This is unbelievable. And I was like, yeah.
That's so fucking dope.
And he thought he had it. He's like, well, there's nothing I can do. And I'm like, we took him out of the game with that on the stack. It was absolutely amazing. This is just another outlet if I can't attack, or if someone's got protection, I just have to do it in my end step and then machine gun them down. Hadoken, aka Lightning Bolt, not much to say other than this is the OG. Let's deal 3 damage to whatever I want to.
Yep.
And then Gut Shot's actually a newer ad. We got to get rid of that Orcish Bowmasters. As we just saw in the Invitational. Yep. That was unbelievable.
Yo!
Rock side player dead on the Blue Farm's turn. He had a cracked hand that was absolutely amazing.
Bro.
Yeah.
I was literally like, please drop down in the chat if you watched the Invitational, the Top Deck Invitational Finals. Yo.
Gemstone, Dark Crit.
I kid you not, like, I've heard on the Mind Sculptors Ian talk about all the time and saying, yo, Bowmasters needs to get banned. Bowmasters needs to get banned. I'm like, okay, whatever. It's a crazy card. It stops certain play styles. I get it. I got you. I kid you not. When I saw that game, I was like, and the fact that he was in the game too, I was like, all right, maybe Bowmasters is a little crazy. I was like, this is like, I really had to ask myself, did Blue Farm win this game or did Bowmasters win this game? You know what I'm saying?
That.
Like I literally had to ask myself that question, because I'm like, yo, like this is, I don't know if that's one card should not be able to change the tide of a game so much, but it did. And I feel like there may be a better way to punish wheels. I feel like, I've heard some people say it, but I don't want to take this too much away, but the gut shot for the Bowmasters, after that game, yes.
Yep.
Yep. Yes. I'm not mad at that. Go ahead, brother. I'm listening.
All right, and then our last 2 here, we got Pyroblast and Red Elemental Blast.
Can't leave home without them.
Yeah, you can't leave home. These are your bread and butter. in the removal sense of things, your Chroms, your Nadus, but basically your big ones are your Rhystic Studies, Mystic Remoras, getting a Gemstone out or Simian Spirit Guide in hand with one of these for an early Mystic Remora to stop that is really good, because right now, in my personal opinion, we're in a really greedy meta.
Yep.
Fish Pact is much less common nowadays.
100%.
And,
that's true.
People are like, let's just see who can win the fastest. And I'm in mono red. I'm not saying I'm not doing that either, but
Right.
it's you can't let those things resolve, because the first person tries, they don't get it because they drew so many interaction. By the time it gets back to that person's turn, their chances of winning are very, very high.
No, I definitely I have to agree with you 1,000,000,000%. If I can be fully transparent, it is. All right, I've been playing Jeskai a lot, and literally my mulligans right now, they literally look like, can I get a turn 1 Fish Rhystic Study out, or turn 2 Rhystic Study out, Esper, or just have a game plan where I have one of my combo line enablers. That's all I'm digging for. I'm just digging for a game plan for drawing cards, or can I win by turn 3 with the combo line and some mana. Though I don't think it's fully unhealthy, I think it's necessary to run these types of cards to keep those kind of game plans in check, because I can look at my gameplays and I'm like, wow, like that Fish literally won me the game, or that Rhystic won me the game. And I think, to be fair, like I love them so much. I love playing my blue now, but you got to check people 100%. So
yeah, I'm actually running active Volcano in some of my red decks, which can return an island to an opponent's hand or destroy a blue permanent.
Ooh, active Volcano. Where's that one at?
That one it's not in this deck. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm just trying to help out my fellow mono red players that, hey, there's more stuff that you can do to kind of help against that battle, to give you the extra edge.
You know what? This was in my sideboard for like 3 months, because I saw it. It was Lamora cards had like it was like when the Japanese tournaments had this, and this sat in my sideboard for so much because of Rhystic Study and Fish. And it was like, you also can hit Crom and all these other things. I was literally like, I wanted to put this in my deck so bad. I just couldn't, because I was like, no, it's okay, because I feel like more people are expressing themselves more, and with that, it'll be a dead card if it you know what I'm saying. So if you're looking for more blue hate, here you go.
Yes, absolutely.
So I want to get into removal and protection for your and board protection and spell protection. But before I do, I have to tell the people very quickly. If you're looking for ways to support the show, we have a plethora. Everything from our ThunderConductor proxies, check the link out in the bio, all to our ThunderConductor merch. It's the smartest, smoothest merch on this side of the internet. Also, check out the Thunder Legion, our Patreon community. They're fucking awesome. I think of a big shout out to our mono red patrons, Wavy Shara, Bissy Baxton, the Praetor, and B-Rad. Y'all rock and keep the lights on the way you could not imagine. And last but not least, if you said AT, I don't want the proxy, the merch, or the Patreon. I just want to say one time for the fun time. I love what you do, and I want to support you. Don't even worry. Check the link out in the bio. You can buy me a coffee. It keeps me up and keeps the lights on. With that said, let's get back to this deck tech, brother. Talk to me about board and spell protection. How are we protecting ourselves and protecting our board and all that other fun stuff, brother?
So for mono red, unfortunately, there is not much protection, but we do have a little bit at least. So your Pyro Blast and your Red Elemental Blast for any blue spells that people are trying to, stop your win con, shoot one of those at them to try and stop them. Deflecting SWAT, of course, to also try and do the same thing. When we were talking about Kiki's more than just a combo piece, he's a value piece. I know I don't have it in my spell protection tag, but getting a dual caster mage out and then holding up your Kiki-Jiki activation is also another fantastic thing that I've used, both not only to win but to also stop people from stopping them from winning. There we go. Yeah, stopping them from winning. Holding up Kiki with a dual caster mage is a very powerful play. I've actually one of my other good buddies who's on Natali has done it a few times where he did comport. What's the 3 green and you can an X and you can search your quarter calling.
Quarter call. Yep, you got it. Yep.
Where he's done it for like 5, and then I'm like, I'm gonna activate Kiki and I'll go and get my Zealous Conscripts or Chorus Recruiter, and I have outlets, and then I just win on the stack before his even resolves. That has actually come up a decent amount of time, so just holding up Kiki with a dual caster Mage is very, very dangerous. Yeah.
I love that, because that was actually one of the questions I had. Like, how often do you find that this list is able to like win at instant speed? And in addition to that, do you think other cards similar to Emergent Zone will be useful in the land base to support that instant speed win?
So I haven't gone as far as Emergent Zone because I don't have the most consistent way of finding it.
Gotcha.
And I actually did not start doing this until kind of recently.
Gotcha.
Doing things in my end step, so that way I keep all of the creatures I steal. Or I'm sorry, keep all the creatures I steal, or the creatures I make and at the end step, because I'm already in end step. They won't disappear until the next one.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I had some people put me onto that, and that has actually made a huge impact on my gameplay for getting people that have protection from the One Ring and such.
Got you.
I've actually was going for combo. My opponent was last in turn order because it's my turn, and I went infinite with my combo, and then I just Goblin Bombardment enough creatures to kill the 2 people that were across from me in my end step, so that way when it went to his turn, I just shoot him. He had the One Ring. I'm like, even if you activate it, I'll still have those infinite creatures to shoot you down. So I've realized that I haven't need to run Emergent Zone as much as I wanted to, because the biggest reason why I personally would want to run Emergent Zone, and I know this sounds weird, but it would be for Blasphemous Act. I know that sounds weird. I could still like combo off, but getting rid of Stax pieces and just wiping the board when people least expect it. I have some plans for this deck. Assuming what happens in the future, I won't really get into that. But there's a certain card that I'm hoping Koth gets desparked or becomes a creature commander.
Yes.
And then I will probably be taking some of the aspects of this deck, putting it to here, and then making this one maybe a little bit more turbo. So yeah, we have some plans in the future depending on what cards come out, but right now this go ahead.
No, yeah, I definitely love that aspect of leveraging instant speed board wipes. If I like, that's actually one of the reasons why well, of course, Batsman F is a little like it goes a little bit against the grain of what the Rionia strategy looks like. But one board wipe that I leverage, because like you said, red just shits out mana out his ass, like he just can't control it, is Starstorm. And I actually took that from the Godel list for Starstorm. And so I love how you noticed very clearly, like, yo, like Blasphemous Act is great, but if this had instant speed on it, I think it would have to get banned.
Yes, it definitely would.
It's just instant speed board wipe, like instant speed is king, but instant speed board wipes are absolutely ridiculous. People just, when you wipe the board at instant speed, people just don't expect it, especially from mono red, because they really don't look at this too often. So there's definitely been some times I've just caught the entire table off by just, all right, in response to your clone, I'm gonna Starstorm X equals 3, and they're literally like, wait, all the creatures are 3 less power. I'm like, except my Rionia, and like, but I don't want your Rionia. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. You can have a clone. like it's a great commander. It's like, you get a clone too. And so it's stuff like that actually is really, really fun, especially with the Mockingbird now, and you got to choose your X value. There's definitely some cheeky things you can do with that, but keep going, brother.
And I think that's actually gonna wrap it up. We don't have much spell protection per se. just trying to go a little bit faster than other people is what we're trying to go for here.
No, I definitely feel you there. Yeah, we may not have a lot of spell protection, but I'm not gonna lie. One thing that you do versus different that's me is you got Stax pieces, and I really respect your Stax piece package. Though it's not robust, it hits decks just like in the right angle. So talk to us about Stax pieces, brother.
So I have literally altered my playgroup stacks. They're like,
really?
We have to run basics if we're up against MRC. 100%. 100%. People are like,
wow,
we got to start running basics, because I get to turn 1 Blood Moon. I can literally shut off and just immediately win. And it's happened more times than I can count. If I'm having bad mulligans, sometimes instead of going for turbo, sometimes it's trying to get a Blood Moon, because if you got plenty of your decks that are running 0 basics, and I'll just completely shut them out. Like there's nothing you can do. You can hope you get a colored artifact, but that Blood Moon, Magus of the Moon, it has come up more times than I can count this card. I've been hearing stuff about how Blood Moon's not a good stacks piece, and it stops your when you need to politic, it turns off your opponents that can help you. We're in mono red, baby. Like, it's on us, and that's it. I ain't worried. Like, that's my enemy. Like that's not how it works. I hate hearing that. I'm gonna back this card to the day I die.
100%.
Max Moon, Blood Moon is just an amazing piece for these greedy mana bases. You want to spend all that money on your dual lands and stuff? Well, here's a mountain. Not even a basic mountain. A mountain. That's what you get.
Oh, fuck.
So enough said about those two.
A mountain. I'm not even giving you a basic mountain.
Winter Moon, that new card, it's not a basic mountain. It won't untap. It's just a mountain. So that's an important reason why I say that.
Get out of here. True. That's right. That's right. It's a non-basic mountain. Get out of here. Oh.
We've kind of already talked about Treasure Nabber being, a stacks piece, but so I won't go too much into that. And then lastly, I think Lamora, if I recall correctly, said himself that Rolling Vortex is a card you need to look out for.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, same thing. You get this out early, people are like, I want my Mana Crypt. I want my Chrome Mox. Like, go ahead. And like, those are the people you just start hitting. Like, you're going to kill them real quick. 5 damage is a lot of damage.
Yes.
It adds up. And I'll say the activation, your opponents can't gain life this turn. It has come up a decent amount of times. It's nothing huge, but if that Timmed up player's swinging and you're like, man, their life total's starting to get low. Like, we got the extra mana, let's spend it so they don't gain the life and then just keep losing more and more life. They still get their card advantage, but let's knock them down a few pegs.
No, 100%. I think this card, if I can add on, I think it's not just a great card, but in addition, and a great stacks piece, it leans into your play style. Like, I can't talk to enough about, I tell people, like, there is no such thing as this is the perfect way to build this deck, because you're not the same as this person, and that person is not the same as the other person. What we've heard thus far from MRC is that he is not afraid to win the OG way of swinging the face. If there was a red, what's it called? What is that black creature we just got? Bowmaster. If there was a mono red Orcish Bowmaster, he will be running it and he will be swinging at you with that red orc army all day. And so I love this card because it fits your play style, where it's like, I'm doing the damage to you, I have a slight stacks piece, I'm also stopping you from breaching, which is outside of Thassa's Orca the second most common, if not the most common win con that we see in our format at the top tables. It supports my strategy of already putting pressure on your life total. So I think this is a perfect card, not just for mono red, for those decks who are looking for those extra stacks pieces to stop like the free interaction and other things. But if you love the beat face and really just swing in consistently with combat damage, this is another card you need to probably consider adding, because it's not about this being the best card in the format. It's about, does this support your play style? And I think this really does, bro. I kid you not. This is a good one.
Oh, yeah. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, I love this card.
100%. And if we can just go back to Magus and Blood Moon, I remember when I've had a love-hate relationship with these cards. So when I started playing this was one of the first cards I wanted to add to my deck because like I was first getting into like what was it called, EDH, and then like all like the card pool increased. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And I was like, I started to build my like, you know, the same story. Like my deck got too powerful, so I just wanted to be more powerful. And I thought about Blood Moon, not because I was ignorant, I didn't know any better, but I just thought it was a cool card. And because of my ignorance with the card, I didn't really use it to its full potential. So I went from, I just want to go faster. So I took all the stack species out, and that was a core identity of my Riona list. And as I started playing more colors, I went from saying, I'm not a big fan of that card too. With proper execution, this card is busted. The same with Magus and Moon. I think these are cards that there will be times where you're just waiting for someone to cast a Dockside and they'll get the game. But I've also played games where I literally had to imprint a Tainted Pact onto an Isochron Scepter to go to I kid you not. I had to imprint a Tainted Pact onto an Isochron Scepter to dig for a talisman so I could actually play the game. I kid you not. Like I literally had to do that in my Marnie's list. I was in my local LGS, and like he was playing a mono red Ragavan list, and he played a Blood Moon. My mana base was not ready for it, so I was like, all right, guys, Isochron, and they're like, "Oh, you trying to win?" I'm like, "No, I'm not." And I show the dude, I'm about to. Like, I promise you, I'm not trying to win. It's like, all right, go ahead. We can't stop it either way. Imprint Tainted Pact, and I literally digged like 5 or 10 cards deep just to find a mana source to keep the game, like so I can get into the game, because you know Marnie's is a control list. So like though it does give the red decks like, you know, oh, I'll Dockside and win the game. I'm gonna be honest, it really hurts those non-red decks, and it's really disgusting. So full flowers to these decks, man. Full flowers. But we could talk all day about ways to stop people. That's cute, but we're not trying to stop people. We're trying to go mono red Ghostbird. So how are we ramping, brother? Talk to me.
All right, ramping here. That's gonna be like, let's say, almost 90% of the deck. So without question, we're running our fast rocks. We don't need to really go over those. We got the Mana Crypt, the Soul Ring, Lotus Petal, Chromox, Mana Vault, so on and so forth, Jewel Lotus, all those. The main reason why I like red is literally right here, the ramp. I know it's not mono green where it's, you know, consistent ramp. This is explosive. It's all there. Or it's not. So you got your Rite of Flame, which is 1 red, add 2. Desperate Ritual, Pyretic Ritual. Both of those are for 2 mana, add 3. Seething Songs, 3 mana, add 5 red mana. Those fast, explosive starts in red are the most fun thing for me in Magic. I absolutely love it. We have a Ritual on a Stick with Koth of the Hammer. You can +1 him to untap a mountain, or you can -2 him to add red for each mountain that you control. This one's absolutely amazing. You know, a lot of people, why is that in your deck? And then I'm using Sword of the Animist with my Port Razor. Let's say I don't even have combo piece. I equipped in my Port Razor. I'm getting 3 extra mountains a turn.
Get the fuck
that actually came up.
That's some tech, bro. That's some tech right there, bro.
Yeah. That came up in the top 4 against those guys, and I was attempting to equip it to my Port Razor. I did not have Kiki out or the mana to get him out. Next turn I would have, but they're like, that's too much value. Can't let you do that. So they stopped it. So this is another card like Sword of the Animist in the cEDH deck. I'm like, yes, Sword of the Animist in it. Like we're swinging. We're gonna get some mountains here. Apex of Power, Dance with Calamity, we kind of went over those two. The top 7 cards, that's card advantage, but you get that 10 red mana to cast all those spells. So it's 10 for 10. It's like you didn't spend any mana. Dance with Calamity can get you into your rituals, can get into your combo pieces. You can just get a full package to be like, I'm going to cast all these spells and win. Dockside. So yes, we all know about Dockside, but Kiki and Dockside, do we know about that? Right? So that's where Kiki comes in at value.
Okay.
cast Dockside. Let's say it's 5 mana.
Right.
I'm like, all right, I got 5 mana. I can cast my commander. I'll be like, all right, use all 5, cast my commander. And I'm like, I'm going to tap Kiki targeting Dockside, make another 5.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, do I have Zealous Conscripts? Do I have Coercive Recruiter in hand? Those are 5 mana. Let's cast those. Untap Dockside. I'm sorry, untap Kiki-Jiki. If I have Coercive Recruiter, tap Dockside, it's a pirate, make another pirate, untap Kiki-Jiki, because you can make infinite mana and infinite 1/2s with Coercive Recruiter if you have Zealous Conscript. Yeah.
Oh, you mean the Coercive or Coercive Recruiter?
Yes, the coercive.
Coercive. Oh, you're right. Thank you. That's it. Coercive. Yeah, you have it right. Yeah. Coercive Recruiter. Oh shit! I never thought about this because it says whenever this or another pirate enters, gain control of target creature until end of turn. Oh shit! And then wow, keep going. Keep going.
So Coercive Recruiter, a win con with Kiki-Jiki is you make infinite of those. Each one of those pirates will see the other pirate, so you're just going to steal all the creatures.
Right, 100%.
For Zealous Conscripts, that you can steal any permanent, but that one you would just have to keep targeting Kiki-Jiki. But basically what I'm saying is Docksiding for 5 is a lot better in this deck because you cast Kiki, you make another 5. So it's basically like free mana. And we're not even mentioning Heat Shimmer, Twin Flame, Molten Duplication, Cursed Mirror. This card is just busted. I really hope it never ever gets banned.
I'm not gonna lie. I think Dockside should not get banned. I think we're at this point. If it's broken in your EDH, or I'm not even gonna start the conversation. I think it's at a good point because I think there's enough hate pieces. We're not running the hate pieces. If y'all want to know how to stop Dockside, look at yourself. If you don't want to run the ETB hate effects, or if you don't want to run the creature counters, or if you don't want to run the stifle effects, that's your fault. Don't destroy an entire archetypes or other things like that. I think Dockside is fine, but I really want to say this. I really love that synergy with your deck. How you can literally go Dockside for 5, Kiki, make a copy of Dockside, go into your 5-minute combo, and I'm gonna make sure to tag it up here if y'all have never seen it. We shout out to one of my Patreon members and good buddies of mine, Bissy Baxon. He had an amazing talk about the rule of 5 and how a lot of the most powerful win cons that we play with right now sit around or that 5 or less mana. And so what happens is if you can, whether it's intuition into untapping with 5 mana for getting Savines, whether it's dual casters Mage and Twin Flame or multi-duplication, Heat Shimmer is a special case where it's like it's not the end of the world because you can target any creature on the board. And there's so many combo, or like 5 mana to start a Sisse loop. Like what makes our combos viable and so powerful is that once you hit that 5 mana range, it really just opens up the world to you. And so I love how even in this deck, you granted using one of the most busted cards ever printed, you're still able to find a way to leverage that rule of 5 in this in a deck that usually takes 10 mana to push some combos out. But yeah, I really love that, brother. Keep going on rant, bro.
Next we got Fable the Mirror Breaker, which we touched on, just making a treasure there, but we cannot forget about the backside like I did for Bergie. But that backside can make copies of Dockside and such. It's also a good value piece. Jessica's Will. This is the reason why I will not ever add a color to red. I've tried it many times. It just does not work for me. This card is stupid cracked, and I absolutely love it. Turn 1 this to get a ton of mana to, if I have any other rock, we can win there. Like this card just gives you so much mana. And, this actually, of course, I know they have a very high chance of having interaction in their hand, but if there's a Rhystic Study and, let's say I Overmaster, for example, Overmaster just as well, I'm like, you can draw, like, give me an extra mana, and, they'll usually draw. So this is why I really like this card. With such a heavy draw format, yes, there's a high chance of it being countered with a lot of cards in hand, or it's a lot of mana for you. So great card
100%.
To ramp.
If I could please add on to this as well. Not a challenge, but I'll rephrase it like this as a mind opener. I recently have had multiple games where in my Satya list, my Jeskai list, where I've gone Underworld Breach, Jeska's Will, and it'll be anywhere from like 8 to 12, and I'll have a silence effect out or some other bullshit, or like I'll keep paying for Ristic, but they can't do anything else because they're cooked on mana or something like that. But I've used Underworld Breach and Jeska's Will to storm off and to, as long as I have enough cards in my graveyard, because it's been like a mid-range game or whatever, not I end up storming into the rest of my combo, whether I'm going Dockside Baron or just find the rest of the Brain Freeze, LED or Lotus Petal, like whatever it may be. But I'm gonna be honest, Jeska's Will, like y'all 3 color packages, don't sleep on Jeska's Will. It's busted in mono red, but it's still got a place in these 2 or 3 color piles, y'all. Like I've literally won games off the back of Jeska's Will. It's really strong, y'all.
Rockside still playing it, getting
Big
into their rocks. That's some scary stuff right there because they got Rock Rack. I won't dive into that. That's a different deck, but you know.
Go ahead, brother.
I can talk red all day.
Oh, big facts.
Jewel Lotus, not much to say here. 3 mana for 0 for your commander. It's fantastic.
Yep.
We'll kind of skip our normal ones.
Yeah.
Ragavan.
Ooh.
Ragavan, great, simple, easy, 1 mana, start swinging, getting a treasure, and also a little bit of card advantage depending on what you get off of your opponents. You can exile good stuff from them, or you can steal stuff from them.
Yep.
Have you ever had a Mystic Remora or a Ristic Study in mono red? Well,
it's pretty fun.
This guy right here will do it for you. So, yeah. And I actually found out dashing Ragavan. I've been dashing out Ragavan a whole lot more to keep him protected, and then just not even like, oh, I can't get through, then just don't cast him and use him for something else. But if you have the mana floating, just play him out.
Yeah.
Ruby Medallion.
Ooh.
I love any of the medallions because of course I love monocolor decks.
Yeah.
But you'll notice I don't run Arcane Signet or Felwar Stone. This is my replacement for them. This one just it's just so much. -1 on each one. It makes combos so much easier. If you think about it, you can get your the rule of 5, you can get it down to 3.
Yeah,
if you have
true.
This out. Dual Caster Mage, Twin Flame, Molten Duplication. And that's definitely come up, and it's been very helpful for me.
Fuck, that's crazy.
Yeah. So I'm a big fan of Ruby Medallion. Another sleeper, Runaway Steamkin. Not only a fantastic combo piece, but this card can just go off.
Dude,
being able to remove those 3 counters to add 3 red is huge. And also at the same time, if you ain't doing too much with it, make it a 4/4 beater and start smacking face.
Big facts.
Do what red does. There's plenty of times where I've done that. Great card.
Yes.
Seething Song we talked about. Simian Spirit Guide. Here's another one that I'm sure we're all aware of, but having this in opening hand with one of your counter spells to stop a blue Ristic Study or Mystic Remora is huge. Having 1 more mana to just pop off turn 1 or turn 2 is just fantastic. There's a lot to say about this. The funny side of this, I cannot tell you how many times I've had to hard cast Simian Spirit Guide from exile because hey, we're not letting it go to waste. That's a 2/2 beater right there.
Hey.
Come on.
That's what I'm like, yo, if it's in your playstyle, I am not going to judge you. I've had people look at me crazy too in what's it called? When I cast it and I'll make like a beater with Ryoya. People look like I've never seen someone cast. I'm like, it's beater. I'm putting on pressure. You putting that now. The fuck are you talking about?
You're gonna see that, monkey. I love that freaking card. It's so awesome. Next we have Skirt Prospector. It's a dork in itself that yes, you would have to sacrifice it, but that's all red needs. It's just 1 more mana and you'll pop off. Another great thing about this, if we talked about those clones being more prevalent in blue, they want to get a clone in, just sack it to stack. Oh man, I can't talk right now. Sack Dockside to Skirk Prospector. There we go. Just to stop those lines, and then we have quite a few other goblins that we can sacrifice if we need to get a little bit of extra mana. So that's another great card that I started playing. Sword of the Animist we touched on here, but we are a combat deck. We can sometimes swing multiple times, and getting more mountains will fuel our Planeswalker rituals, our Valakits for removal. I absolutely love this card, and in a combat-oriented deck, I don't want people to be afraid of it, especially in red, since you can cast it and equip it rather quickly. So
100%. Yeah. Like, I'm not even going to shit on this card. I think you have a great package in your deck to support the usage of Sword of the Animist. I think if you're just looking for a ramp piece, that may not be the answer. But when you're running Valakut, you're running both of the what's the Planeswalker name again? My guy, Koth. You running both of the Koths. Like, it really doesn't hurt at all to have this in the package. So yeah, no shade at all, bro.
Next, we got Throne of Eldraine. I touched on this a little bit, but basically it's a monocolored card because when it enters the battlefield, you have to choose a color, and you can add 4 mana of the chosen color, but you can only spend it to cast monocolored spells of that color.
Right.
So, not very good in other color decks, but I do really like that. Wizards printed a card for people that like monocolor decks. I know there ain't much of us, but giving love to everybody's fantastic, and this card is just, it's great. As soon as it came out, I immediately was like, give me the fanciest one you got, and I'm buying it. Like,
yes,
love that
yes. I'll fuck with
Urza Saga, Treasure Nabber, we talked about those a bit.
Yep.
But right here, Treasonous Ogre. This is the
yes.
all-star. This card was the reason why I did so well in the Boil.
Really?
Yes. The Boil, like, I jammed games with my play group. I'm talking 7 days a week for hours on end. This is my hobby, and I'm really big on, if you want to enjoy life, enjoy things that you love, and hanging out with my buddies, eating and drinking and playing some Magic is the best thing in the world to me. So
yes.
We jammed a bunch of games, and I learned how to mulligan properly before the Boil, and that is really late into my cEDH career. But for this deck, like, as we can see, my ramp package is huge.
Yeah.
Get a combo piece, get an enabler. The mana will come to you. Trust within the cards. That's what this deck is built for.
Yes.
You got a 1-lander. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I can whiff, but welcome to red. This is, if you want to play this play style, you're gonna have to gamble.
Just a little. That's big. That's real.
But I've built this deck where there's a lot of mana, so I can trust that I'm going to get that mana to go off, and that is exactly what I did in the Boil.
Yeah.
I trusted my deck building skills, and I finally figured out how to mulligan properly, and I took off. People weren't expecting that. Turn 2 on the play, went in, I think 2 out of the 3 games I won. So I went, 3-3-1? Yeah, I went 3-3-1. I won turn 2.
God,
like
they
just don't see
bro.
it. Yeah, and Treasonous Ogre was a big reason for this, and not just the Boil, and other tournaments too. So
yes.
Not giving us another reason to be swung at, but
like, no, I'm gonna be honest, but there's a difference, and this is why, and like, for the people who want to play mono red, but you don't like the whole, I use my life total, so don't hit me, like, because I'm that type. I don't really play I don't play Ad Nauseam, Necro, Necrodom, not because they're bad. I'm an endurance player. I can win fast, but if I have to sit for a 2-hour game, I have the endurance to be patient. But if I'm using my life total, people are going to kid me. You know what I'm saying? And the difference why a lot of red players don't get hit even when they run Treasonous Ogre is because it's like, I understand it gives them mana, but it's not the win. You know what I'm saying? And especially because our color lacks all the extra like perks, like the tutors, and our card draw is not always the best, like Aristic Set of Your Fish. People just don't care. And I usually don't like saying stuff like that, but it's the truth. You can walk through the steps. I'm like, I can have Treason. There's times where I have Treasonous Ogre in hand, but I won't cast it because I don't have the enabler to win with it. You know what I'm saying? And if I don't have the enabler to win with it, I don't give a fuck if I have 40 life and a treasonous ogre in hand. It's not doing anything. Like, and you can hit me if you want. That just means I won't win this turn. I'll wait till next turn because I'll have enough lands or I have the rocks to do it. So it's like, all right, hit the mono red player if you want. It doesn't matter. We're not playing Necro. We're not playing that. And we're still gonna win. It doesn't matter. So, yeah. Go ahead. No, but that man, that's such an amazing ramp package. And you like, I don't know if y'all, anybody in the stream audience or even on YouTube, drop down if any of these gems or things in that you've never thought about playing, but you've definitely put some things in my mind, especially these coughs. You're really making me think again on those things. Granted, I'm a little more greedy with my utility lands and I'd have to shift some things, but you're really making me think hard about these utility lands. I mean, about the coughs and the runaway stinkins. Another banger. I'm not going to cap, but there's nothing. We've talked about the ramp base and that's great, but there's nothing we can do in Magic in general without lands. And so I want to take a sec to talk about our notable land bases, brother.
All right, so I'm gonna get the boring part out of the way here. I have a good friend of mine. He's I think he's starting to follow in my footsteps a little bit, and fetch lands in a mono red deck are very important.
Ooh, talk to me.
You run all 5 of those: the Bloodstained, Wooded, Scalding Tarn, Arid Mesa, and the Prismatic Vista, which is the one that a lot of people forget about, which searches for a basic. So get those lands out of your deck. You need a few of them to pop off, and then you've got the ways to get them with your Planeswalkers and your Sword of the Animist. So bringing down your land count. I'm very big on doing fetch lands in monocolored decks. You ain't gotta, worry about, hey, what colors do I need for this? Get your mountain. That's 2 lands out, and get your better top decks. So,
what do we say? Deck thin and this deck winning.
Yeah. Yes. Deck thin and this deck winning.
You kind of persuaded me to put my fetches back here, bro. Keep talking. I'm listening, brother.
All right. So for our spicy includes, I guess you could say, I'm gonna save Arena of Glory for last because I'm gonna chat about that card. Okay. So Valakut here. We talked about this one a little bit. I understand it comes in tapped. I get it. But this ability here it's very valuable. I've had plenty of times, and I'll say it over and over again. People are telling me, cut Valakut. Nope, I ain't doing it. This thing will start dealing damage. I'm telling you right now.
I hear you.
It's here to stay, and chances are I'm gonna get a Blood Moon effect out. Valakut's not even gonna come in tapped because it's just a mountain,
I hear that.
People are gonna remove my Blood Moons because they can't do anything against it, and then I'm gonna start hitting people with Valakut. So, people or their creatures, it doesn't matter. You bog me down, we got Valakut.
Yep.
Next up here, Den of the Bugbear. So we're in mono red, right? We can, destroy the board with a bunch of removals and stuff, and sometimes we don't have any cards in hand. Well, there's always this backup plan right here, Den of the Bugbear. We're going to start swinging with a 3/2 that makes 1/1s, and we're going to slowly populate. And we're going to slowly make a goblin army if need be, and we're going to hit you, and we're going to try to hit you hard. So this card came up in the Atomic Empire tournament for me a lot, and they're like, you're really just going to be swinging? I'm like, that's all I got. I'm like, and they didn't have cards in hand either. I was like, at least I can do, something. I can still make an impact on the board. Like exactly. It happens in mono red, but that's where this thing comes into play. You can really smack people, and I've actually copied it with Kiki-Jiki. I was like, give me 2 1/1s. Why not? Like let's sack them to Goblin Bombardment or Impact Trimmers or Perforos. The list goes on. This card it's great. It's great.
Yeah.
100%. And now for my favorite land to ever come out in Magic. Sorry,
hey!
Valakut was my first baby. Den of the Bugbear was my second. Arena of Glory is my favorite land to ever come out in Magic.
Yo, talk to me, dog.
I was so excited for this to come out. So, Arena of Glory, I'm going to read it for you guys here. When it enters the battlefield, or it enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a mountain. You can tap it to add a red, and you can pay a red to exert it to add 2 red, and that can be spent to cast creatures, and they gain haste. So that 2 mana doesn't have to be on 1 creature. It can be 2, and they'll both get haste.
All right. Whoa, I didn't think about that.
That is something very important that a lot of people miss. So, for our combat damage or our attack triggers, it just makes our combat celebrant and our port razor lines that much easier.
Yeah, 100%.
It can, if we want to regular cast a Ragavan, but use the 1 red to give it haste. Same for DRC if we want to smack someone with a 3/3 if we have Delirium on, Professional Facebreaker, Magus of the Wheel if I want to do a wheel and not have to wait a whole turn cycle. The list goes on. There's so much you can do with that card in this deck. Fury, 3/3 double striker, smack them. One big one is the Sardian Avenger. If there's Stax pieces that are making artifacts come in tapped or anything, I've literally killed people straight up by just copying Sardian Avenger 1, maybe 2 times, and I'm gonna hit you for 40 plus. That's kind of I don't want to say like a secret tech or anything, but don't sleep on this Sardian Avenger here.
I feel that
he can do a lot for all those expensive artifacts on the battlefield and stuff, and it's also a bit of a Stax piece, I guess you can say. It's only 1 damage, but
it adds up.
It does, yeah, it definitely adds up. So Arena of Glory is going to be in every red deck that I ever play. It doesn't matter if I'm running my Urbrass Saga deck. We're gonna give him haste and we're gonna smack somebody. Like it's a great card for red, and I'm super glad that they printed it.
Man, I love that. I'm be honest, I didn't fucking think about that shit, man. You straight up told me you can give 2 creatures haste. I was like, wait a second, this dead is in his bag. Yep. I didn't even think about that. That makes this land a lot better. And once again, especially if you're known or if you love to go to combat and get that value damage in, why don't you have Arena of Glory in your list? And if you're not playing red and that's your reason why aren't you playing mono red now? Come on, yeah. Like, I love this, bro. I ain't gonna cap. And I don't even, and of course, there's people who say, oh, the exert, it won't untap again. We're trying to win the game, bro. And I don't care if this doesn't untap again. We're trying to win the game. So, man, that's fucking amazing. And like, amazing land package. Of course, 1 land. Of course, we're already seeing the gemstones, the ancient tomb as well, and we have the cavern of souls as well. We're not in blue, so we don't have a lot of counter magic, but who cares about counter magic if they can't counter our creature spells? So with the cavern of souls. So yeah, like all I have left to ask about you is you getting this amazing deck tech. Are there any other last categories that you'd like to touch on?
I do have one all the way here at the very bottom called damage and outlets.
Yes.
Basically, Fanatic Amogus is a big one that I definitely want to talk about. This card it hits and it hits hard. I consider it almost a win con. It's not like a straight up win con, but there are times where I can do enough damage to absolutely just destroy the board. Destroy all my opponent's life totals.
Yeah.
Simply just copying this with Kiki-Jiki, that's 4 mana that's 5 because the token actually has the mana symbol, as I found out.
Yes, it does, yes.
So it's 5, so that's 9 damage to each one of my opponents, simply off of having this guy and Kiki-Jiki out. And that's not even saying there's anything else with red pips out there.
Right, exactly, yeah.
I can, if let's say I get this out and a dual caster mage and Kiki-Jiki, I don't have win, but let's just hold it up until my person before me, their end step. Maybe I want to get some damage in with Fanatic Amogus, or I just need to hold up and activate my Kiki for my dual caster to help in a counter war or something like that. But this card slaps, and it slaps hard.
Big facts. I definitely feel you there. This used to be a staple mono red reunion tech where we used to always. This was one of our win cons because mono red reunion is a little bit. It can be more stormy, and if you want to do a storm brew, this is definitely one of the win cons you want to use because I can't remember. I used to have this number memorized, but depending on the number of instants and sorceries you cast, you can literally cast. You can storm off, then cast Fanatic, and then go to combat, and then all of the when they enter in, they'll all see each other, and they'll just it just wipes the entire table away in one explosive turn. I had a turn 2 win one time where I was going against like a Tivit. It was like a bunch of meta decks, and it was like I just did this on turn 2, and there was like, what the fuck is this shit? I was like, I don't know either, to tell you the truth. I'm surprised it resolves. And I think I even used the Overmaster to make the important spell that the important ritual I needed to resolve. And the guys were like, go ahead.
We're gonna make Overmaster go up a little bit in price, I feel like.
I think so. I took it out of my Reunion list because I'm not storming off. I'm more like creature win, you know what I'm saying now. But if I ever go back to a mono red storm list, you can't build it without Overmaster, bro. No, it's to the point where Kraken Sakashima's running Overmaster. Yeah. Come on, bro.
Yeah. Such a good card.
Such a good card.
Go ahead, and then we know Grinning Igneous, we kind of already covered that. Helm of the Host, we know what that does. I do have all of your copy effects over here, which goes with Dual Caster Mage, but also good value if you get, Dockside, Fanatic Amogus, Double Sardine Avenger, so on and so forth. So there's a lot you can do with that. Impact Tremors is our outlet for if we make a bunch of creatures and such. Same with Perforos. But lastly, our Breach. So I'm not an Underworld Breach deck, but I still run Breach. So my breaches are mainly for value. There's time where if I'm like running behind and someone killed my Mana Crypt, and I need to get it back, and that's what's going to bring me back into the game, I'll do it. The chances of me winning with Underworld Breach are slim, although possible. But getting a second Jessica's Will or really anything that I need to get back, I'll do it. So that's why I have Underworld Breach in, because other than that, I don't care about my graveyard. If I need to exile the 3 cards plus the the 3 cards other than my Mana Crypt to get it back out to start going off, so be it. I'll do that. But yeah, that's it on Breach there.
Yeah, I feel that, man. Fucking fantastic. I have to be honest, bro. This is an amazing mono red list, and I'm so happy that I really got a breakdown of it because, like I said, to hear other mono red decks other than Reunion Magda doing well brings my heart joy, because like for the longest time after me playing Reunion and seeing what Magda did, I'm like, dang, there's no other mono red decks that can really like take over the meta in like a really just creative and a fun way. And you have done it. You have found not just this, but I'm sure even more mono red brews have done it, and you've shown why the creativity that comes with this mono red color is super powerful. So the last thing I want to be able to do before we let the folks go and we get into the gameplay is I want to do some playtest hands. You ready?
Okay. Yeah. Let's do that.
All right, for sure. All right. Notable thing about if you never played mono red before, we didn't talk about the color spread out. So our 85% for symbols on our stuff, we only have 75% red production. That's lower because, first of all, the fetch lands, but also please remember we run a shit ton of rituals. So if y'all are wondering, oh, the red man is too low, you'll be fine. Just keep note to y'all. All right, but let's do it. I'm gonna go ahead and roll a d8 to see what turn order you're going. You got a 4, so you will be going second. Okay. Let's say player 1 is a Roxy. You're going second. Player 3 is a TNK. And player 4, let's say it's a Tivit. Nice, good old Metapod, okay? Your first 7 will be 3 Mountains, a Dragon Rage Channeler, a Wheel of Fortune, an Imperial Recruiter, and an Outpost Siege.
That one, I'd mulligan.
That makes sense.
Yeah, considering that pod, too much mountains, not enough faster mana.
Gotcha. I agree. Let's go see another one. Okay, next one is a little interesting. We have an Urza Saga, a Jeweled Lotus, a Lotus Petal, a Ragavan, a Rending Volley, a Deflecting Swat, and a Treasonous Ogre.
100% keep that hand.
Talk to me through your thought process on this one.
All right, so Urza Saga into Jeweled Lotus into Lotus Petal, I think was the other one, right?
Yep.
And then we have Treasonous Ogre and Deflecting Swat for protection. So I would probably get Kiki out ASAP there and have Deflecting Swat. Yes, he is a 2/2. He could be removed. It happens. But we have that Treasonous Ogre in hand. So
bingo. Yeah.
There we get out a combo piece with protection. Not only for just myself, but if I need to help out in a counter war early on, especially going up against a Rogsai, that's definitely important. And then trust in the cards to get that mana, or get that mana for that Treasonous Ogre. If for some reason he gets removed, to get that Deflecting Swat back online and to get the mana to start comboing off.
100%.
So.
And we also have a little bit of passive card advantage too with, I know our land base right now, we don't have any red sources, but as we've talked about before, we have an Urza Saga that can eventually go into a Chromox if we never draw another land, God forbid.
Yep.
But we have this Ragavan, we can be dashing out. In addition, if we just draw one mountain, we can start just pushing life totals and seeing some more cards and making more mana. So it could be in some universe where we can push Treasonous Ogre out on turn 3. So let's just go see what our first draw is for this hand. We get a Rite of Flame. This is kind of hot.
All right, so that would definitely change slightly because that Lotus Petal would go for Rite of Flame, so you can also get that Ragavan out on top of everything else that we talked about. We're still, I believe, 1 mana short from the Treasonous Ogre.
Yeah.
In a world, I could play a little bit slower. Yes, I know there's a T and K player, but the Rogsai is the one that I'm worried about, as we talked about earlier.
Right.
About comboing off. So getting that Deflecting Swat online would be important. I could use Lotus Petal to just get that Ragavan out. But still, that would only get us to what, 1 land, 2. Yeah, that still I don't think would get us to.
No, I agree.
So,
it's a risky play to push all that spells off. You'll come off as scary, quote unquote. Yeah. But I'm being honest. Look, there's a Rogsai going first. Yeah, they're worried about you possibly winning, but there's politicking. There's word choices you can use to say like, hey, I'm not pushing this out for the win, and I can't even cop my Ragavan. Please understand the Ragavan is card advantage, and the Kiki is here as to help you all. And if they if they're intelligent enough, they'll understand what you mean by helping. You know what I'm saying?
And that Kiki's got haste too. So turn 1, swing at them. They don't. I mean, they're not going to block with Roxai, of course.
No,
but
they're not.
Do 2 damage. That's 2 life off of, an Adnos. So
100%. Yeah. No, I think this is a great second 7. Yeah, let's keep running with it. Let's check a second hand out. This hand you'll be going first. You got a 1, so you'll be going first. We'll say second is going Nadu. Third is going another TNK, and fourth is going to be Kennen. Okay. All right. First 7 will be a mountain, a Jeweled Lotus, a Mana Vault, a Burgi, a Twin Flame, an Underworld Breach, and a Dance with Calamity.
Ooh.
What you thinking?
So, oh man, that one's tough.
Yeah.
I like to have a lot of removal against Kennen and Nadu, but I think I would probably have to take that hand.
Walk me through it.
Can you give me that hand one more time? I apologize.
I got you, brother. Yeah. So we have a mountain, a Jeweled Lotus, a Mana Vault. Okay, that's our mana sources. We also have a Burgi, a Twin Flame, a Underworld Breach, and a Dance with Calamity.
Okay, and a Twin Flame. Ooh, this is a good one. All right. So, hmm, I I think I would have to. I think I would have to risk that hand. I
Okay,
think
talk to me.
it is a risk.
Yeah.
But we can Mountain, Mana Vault, Jewel Lotus. I don't think I would get Kiki online though. There, I think I would. Actually, no. I would even hold up that Jewel Lotus.
I
for
was
my
just gonna
first.
say that. Yeah, you been able to did a keep
Yeah,
it done. You already know what I'm seeing. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah. I would hold up that Jewel Lotus, depending on our draw, of course, but still I'd cast that turn 2 for a red for birdie, because right now my plan would be to get to Dance with Calamity, but we also have Twin Flame. So if we get like a Imperial Recruiter or a Gamble or something, we could try to go for a combo piece.
Yep.
Yeah, there's some things we can. Yeah, I would keep that hand. It's definitely a risk. Of course, we're playing red. It's always going to be so.
100%. Like it would all be awesome to get a second land or whatever now, but I agree. I literally saw this hand. It's just close enough. Like it can be argued this is the hand of 6 because you don't have the mana to push out a Dance with Calamity, but with the ramp package, which is so robust in this list, you can go literally turn 1 Mana Vault, turn 2 Bergie into a J-Lo to get a Bergie mana to get the Kiki-Jiki online, and then after that you're just hoping to get the necessary resources to push from whether it's a dockside or whatever other ramp creature or ramp pieces to push into the either a Dance Calamity or some twin flame shenanigans. So and go ahead.
A big thing I would say is since we are in mono red, mulliganing is a little bit rough, but and I don't want to try and like toot my horn or anything, but I really think you need to be experienced in mono red to understand what you should go for.
I agree.
And if you need to drop down low, because you do not want to go to 5. No one wants to go to 5, but even more so in mono red, you do not want to drop further.
Yeah, you gotta. There has to be a really good reason.
Yeah, I have had to go to. I think I've actually had to go to 3 once. It happens, just like you said, that one guy that you were playing with, he just didn't hit his lands. It happens, but mulliganing properly but also not going too low to run out of, card choices. So.
It's a tough one. I've mulliganed down to 3 in my Reonia list one time, and I won the game. It was I kept a land, a Mana Crypt, and a Humble Effector. And basically that was turn 1 Humble Effector, and I was basically I got really good on my draws. I was able to push out a turn 2 Reonia and start drawing cards, because the Humble Effector, if you all are not familiar, Humble Effector basically states that you could tap it and give it to an opponent, but because of Reonia's ability, they'll exile before they can untap with them again to keep them. So that is it's definitely like it's a case by case thing, but like you need to know, in my opinion, when I think about mono red mulliganing, you need to know what your deck's game plan is. You know what I'm saying? And once you know what the game plan is, you need to know, all right, how low am I willing to go to make that game plan work, and where am I willing to compromise? And if the goal is an early Kiki-Jiki, I think this does this in spades and gives you room to grow into, I have a breach for more value. If I want to recast J-Lo for some reason, or if I want to double up on Twin Flame, or like in some weird reason where I can push out a Dance with Calamity, I have breach to keep going after casting all those spells. So it's a high ceiling with the hand, and the floor is I have a Bergie on board. You know what I'm saying? And that's not a terrible floor. So let's see this first draw for hand. We draw another mountain. So this is a great hand. This gets the job done. Yeah.
That is definitely helpful. The only thing that I've been up against a lot of Kinins, a lot of Nadus, and I like having my removal. And I unfortunately, if they're the only blue players, I do tend to make some people mad, because I'm sorry, I have to target a blue creature for this to work, but it's just the way it is for what I want to do. And that's the one thing that is why I wouldn't like this hand. Underworld Breach in hand, it's kind of a dead card currently, but I'm not gonna lie, if I'm up against a mill deck, for those more fringe cEDH decks, let's say what's his name, Garuda.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
if I have Underworld Breach in hand, I'm like, go ahead and mill me. I was like, take what you want, but that's I couldn't ask for more. I'm like, yeah, go ahead. I'll Underworld Breach after you go through your shenanigans and you don't do it. Or I've been brain freezed before. I'm like, all right, I got Underworld Breach. I was like, by all means, even if I do regular get brain freeze and I don't have Underworld Breach in hand, I don't see it go to graveyard, I get excited.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Like, you know. So,
no, yeah,
but yeah,
no, 100%. I love that. I decided. I mean, you've seen this, and if you all, I'm gonna keep tagging this up here, my mono red Reunion deck tech, but I let Underworld Breach go because I got tired of it being in my hand, and they're similar to Kiki-Jiki. It just Reunion just combos with a ham sandwich sometimes.
Yeah.
That I said, you know what, I'd rather just put another combo piece in. But key thing is I wasn't running Wheel of Fortune, and with Wheel of Fortune it makes Breach better. So be aware that there's certain cards that, like, because I didn't want to run Wheel of Fortune, Breach was definitely not good in my deck. But if you choose to run Wheel of Fortune, even a mono red deck, Breach may be something that, like, it's not doing nothing in my opening hand, but it has some potential. So keep that in mind when you're brewing mono red. So, man, I just want to say, bro, MRC, bro, you are the mono red core. You the guy. You the mono red guy. So I just want to say thank you so much for coming on and giving us this amazing mono red brew. I'm really looking forward to the gameplay because I've never been able to play against Kiki-Jiki, so this is going to be an amazing experience. But I just want to ask, like, before we let you go and we take a small break before we get into the gameplay, is there anything else you want to tell people who are hesitant and not used to playing mono red, why they should give this mono red brew a go?
Don't be afraid to branch out. There's a whole lot more than your top 16 that other people are playing.
Yeah.
I understand you see a lot of it up there, and you know, we just saw the Invitational with some of the best decks in the formats. I did it in the Boil, and I've done it at every other place. There's a lot of people that didn't believe in me, and then they literally looked at me and were like, all right, Corey, you're not a joke anymore. You're a serious threat, and we're going to start treating you as such. So you can put time into your own deck to make it better. You know, you can go online, take a deck, and, you know, navigate it as you so choose. But, you know, don't be afraid to put in the work on a deck that may not be as popular. Find your in and outs, your play style, especially. Thank you, TTC, for saying that. Like, find those little niche cards that will throw a wrench in your opponent's plans that I haven't seen, where they don't have the tech for it. You know, that's fun. There's I don't even know how many cards in Magic, like 28,000 or 24,000, something like that.
Ridiculous like that.
Yeah, there's plenty out there. You know, you could still play your Kinnons, your TNKs, your Roxai, your Sisseys and stuff, but, you know, maybe have that deck on the side, your project, you know. See what else you can bring to the cEDH table. You know, I encourage people to try that, because there's definitely things out there that you can do. So get out there and brew some cool stuff.
Thank you, man. Man, MRC, bro, you the man. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And I just have one thing left to say to the audience before we take a small break. If you're looking for ways to support the show, there are a plethora. Everything from our TC merch to the TC proxies that I sell. Check the link out in the bio. But also, we have the Thunder Legion, my amazing community of all you all patrons. You all rock, and you keep the lights on in the way you could not imagine. Big shout out to our mono red patrons, Wavy Hishira, Bissy Baxton, The Prater, and B-Rad. Y'all rock, and you keep the lights on the way that you could not imagine. And last but not least, if you said AT, I don't want the Patreon, the proxies, or the merch. I just want to say one time for the fun time, I love what you do, and I want to support you. Don't worry, we got something for you too. Check out the link in the bio. You can buy me a coffee. It keeps me up and keeps the lights on. But with that said, we're going to take a small break, and I'll see y'all soon in this mono red Kiki-Jiki gameplay. Y'all be easy. Peace.